There's some massive moments going on right now in Cardano's ecosystem, especially in the DeFi sector. And in today's video, I want to cover everything that's been going on lately and catch you up to speed with all of Cardano. First things first though, if you have ADA and you want to stake it to earn 3.5 to 4% on your ADA, passively paid every 5 days directly to your wallet without locking your ADA up ever, you can do so with the Jack stake pool. Now, what we're talking about today is again the latest on Cardano. This is going to be covering a thread of a bunch of different things that I've also covered on the YouTube channel in depth over the past week. If you want to check those out, I'll leave them linked down in the description, including tutorials on many of the things we'll be talking about today and just in-depth understandings and their importance to the ecosystem. But what's going on in the ecosystem? That's probably what you came here to know. And first things first, if you haven't already heard, JED is live. This is a over-collateralized algorithmic stablecoin on Cardano. Right now, approximately $12 million in TVL. Most of this is in the PEG token, or the kind of token that the JED itself, the stablecoin, is pegged to since the launch. And this has made a lot of arbitrage and DeFi opportunities explode on Cardano from different protocols using lending and borrowing, and also protocols that are just trading in general these pairs and these tokens, having a lot of people active in the market on DEXs. Speaking of lending and borrowing, another big launch was Liquid Finance. Yesterday I made a video on Liquid Finance with a full rundown of how everything works so far on the platform and a direct tutorial relating how this is big, how this is interesting, and also the types of APYs you can see right now that are pretty large in comparison to other APYs, and also include native staking on top of their APYs. So interesting stuff. If you want to check out that video, it will be linked down in the description. And I do think it is a pretty important video to check out if you're at all interested in Liquid Finance and what they're doing. You can see right now they say earn 2x yield from Cardano staking rewards and supply APY directly in your wallet by holding QADA. And I go over that in the video if you want to know how to do that, and also the risks and my kind of thoughts on, is it worth the risk? Is it worth doing? Because I do think that's pretty important questions to ask when you're using a new dApp. On top of this, in the Cardano ecosystem, there's also the Rosen Bridge over at Ergo, a very friendly partner with Cardano in a lot of ways, and soon bridging Cardano to the proof of work based ecosystem. This gave us an idea how their interface may look, and it looks pretty darn nice. It looks clean. There's a health dashboard, and for everything, this is just the bridge. Keep that in mind. Although bridges are quite scary, I'm excited for this bridge nonetheless. There has been some tests going through, and I believe a beta version of the bridge, but I've been just steering clear for now and seeing how it develops. The Cardano BSD Alliance has announced that node version 1.35.5 is available through them, and also a ton of SPOs are now upgrading to 1.35.5, as this was a fix for an issue that caused 50% of Cardano nodes to go down at once in the epoch transition, basically the transition of one 5-day period to another. But this is kind of a hot fix that makes sure that this doesn't happen again. But even with the old version that is ready for the new era of Cardano, the Conway era that is coming supposedly in February, 135.4, it is still very unlikely to happen again. And most SPOs have changed their nodes and upgraded them to the latest version, which is 1.35.5. And very interestingly enough, aside from all the DeFi stuff, we also have some really cool NFT stuff. And this is CIP68, including a dynamic upgrade system for NFTs, allowing metadata to be read by smart contracts and creating potential new sources of revenue generation after mint. So they launched this, basically the ability for a smart contract to read the metadata aside from just a policy ID and token name, but the stats of it, its level, its experience, and much more through CIP68 for Cardano NFTs. And this opens up a whole new stream of possibilities, not just revenue streams, for Cardano NFTs. So more information and news about Ergo related products as a public test has went live for Aneta BTC on Ergo, and Cardano is to follow in 2 months or so. As Will understands here, we already got synthetic Bitcoin through Indigo Protocol, which I've been loving, seeing Indigo Protocol add new assets like Ethereum or synthetic Ethereum, but this is adding wrapped Bitcoin to the mix, not just synthetic, a little bit different, not CDP backed, but wrapped instead, and ideal for those who own both ADA in Bitcoin. A project that I am a rather large holder in, and by rather large, I mean I have 142 NFTs from Makasi, but they have recently launched their very own game, and it's now available for download on macOS and Windows. I have yet to play it, so I have nothing to really say about it yet. I will be testing it out soon, but it's been pretty busy around these parts. I've been trying to make videos on all the new dApps on Cardano, so I've kind of put this on the back burner. However, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty awesome. They've been building for a long time now, and I definitely want to show my support by just emphasizing that I think it would be cool to try this out, and you can grab some NFTs if you have the funds available to play the game. But yeah, definitely check it out if you're interested. It is pretty cool to see a Cardano game launching here on Cardano, and it's now available for playing for the general public. Next in the news is some pretty cool stuff from Yamor Finance. They show the UI and they're keeping press forward. They have some really cool things working on, but we'll see what comes soon. It kind of reminds me of Curve. They obviously like Curve a lot, but this is what we're looking at right now. More taps coming to Cardano and more forms of DeFi, which is always nice to see, even if a lot of these are taking place from Ethereum or inspiration from Ethereum protocols. They are doing it on Cardano. They are using extended UTXO model, and it is a lot different, even if the concepts apply in the back end and the infrastructure to make these things happen in a lot of cases. And as Will says here, special thing about them, indefinite loans with no margin calls or interest repayments. There's been a lot of drama and things going around about protocol tokens on Cardano. And interestingly enough, we have some interesting dApps building that are about dApps like Xerberus.io, a risk rating protocol on Cardano, doing some pretty cool stuff, such as developing an automated solution to check out where a project token went and where the transactions went after the mint. Next up, Blue Shift has put together some interesting stuff. This is a cross-chain DEX currently live on Macomata C1. They presented a new and very slick-looking analytics dashboard, and their DEX is definitely worth checking out. One of the coolest features, in Will's opinion, is LPing on portfolios of tokens. So kind of like an index fund on Cardano on the sidechain, but you can see here they have a pretty solid dashboard. You can also see here they have different indexes from Blue Shift index to Cardano index to multi-chain indexes, and then LPing, people LPing on these indexes of tokens to earn even more rewards. But also keep in mind, LPing does come with some risk as well of impermanent loss. So just make sure you know what you're doing if you're going to be doing that, and staying careful in Cardano DeFi. But still, really cool to have indexes, and it is really nice to put different chains together even in some of these indexes. A new minting service, Brave Dogs, has came out and is pretty much doing a lot of things in the community and working with people, including myself. So keep that in mind. I'm working with Brave Dogs to supply a custom minting service for me, and also stick fricks and the one-to-one claims for each stick frick for a cool experience in the MFer kind of series and a version of that. So stay tuned for that, but I'm working with them. I want to give you just a heads up on that, but they have a smooth experience and one of the cheapest minting engines on Cardano with just the transaction fee for mints, and that's pretty solid. We'll see where they make money, but so far things have been pretty smooth. I also tried out their Genesis Tog minting for the tag, and it was very, very smooth. IOG, one of the 3 founding partners of Cardano, did a really great thread about Hydra Heads, one of Cardano's scaling solutions, and you probably don't want to miss this if you don't already know about Hydra and how the heads of Hydra are going to expand and help scale the Cardano network in terms of layer 2. That will be linked down in the description. For brevity, we're going to pass by it in today's video. If you want a full video on that, I'll definitely be happy to do that too, though. Just let me know down in the comments. After that, we have something interesting, which I kind of mentioned in an earlier video, and I also mentioned a kind of similar approach to this, which is customized NFT marketplaces, or basically people having their own marketplaces for NFTs and launching a white label NFT marketplace and letting them handle the tech while you focus on content and earn revenue. This is through Endmaker, a long-term Cardano NFT platform for creating NFTs, and it does seem really interesting that people can make their own NFT marketplaces now and do it through a service like this, where all they have to do is basically make the NFTs and Endmaker handles the rest and make it simple for people to sell them on their own websites. I haven't heard about Legon Official in quite a while, but this is a cloud computing platform and shared storage economy building here on Cardano. I'm pretty sure they've been heads down quite a bit. Obviously, there's so much going on Cardano, it's hard to keep up with everything. Maybe I've just missed it, but they announced at the end of December, over a month ago now, that they're going to be going full Cardano and ERC20 token holders can claim CNTs. I believe that is meant to be CNFTs or Cardano NFTs for claiming to go to full Cardano. And also keep in mind that the first app iteration is still live since October at the domain listed here. And keep in mind also that this thread will be linked down in the description, so you can check out any links mentioned below in the description. 16, Web3 marketplace for buying, reading, and selling ebooks through Book.io has submitted their MVP for iOS dApps at the iOS App Store. This is pretty exciting. This is one of the major things that I've been waiting for to see Book.io publish and get through, as having a reader on mobile is pretty much the start of the snowball here, because right now it is a lot of NFTs and they are encrypted and they are great to read books through NFTs and own your books, but having them accessible in places other than a computer is pretty important, and that is what this is the start of. So pretty exciting. I do think Book.io is one of the big dApps on Cardano that will bring a ton of people who aren't in crypto at all to crypto, whether they know it or not, and I'm very excited to see Book.io succeed. Next up, TeddySwap with their Fair Initial Stake offering, or FISO, has went live, rewarding stakers with approximately 2 million in Teddy tokens each epoch. This is their governance token, or 0.5% of total supply over the whole period. And earlier we spoke about Jed. Wing Riders were the first to introduce stable swaps, even though Teddy is a stable swap, or TeddySwap is a stable swap, and they did a good video on how they work. You can now swap IUSD on their decks with minimal slippage, also ideal for people who want to LP without impermanent loss, but keep in mind the yields will be lower because the risk is also much lower. Wing Riders is building a solid liquidity in ADA, Jet, and IUSD pairs. MinSwap stats are looking very juicy and strong. They did 7.4 million ADA volume yesterday alone, and one of the highest figures since her launch in terms of ADA volume, and our DeFi ecosystem is only going to grow from here, I suspect. So this figure is probably going to be broken many times over, especially with the launch of other platforms that have a ton of activity. Earlier today, I was scrolling down my timeline and I saw this tweet as well, not even from Ada Whale, but also just in general. Summon Platform, a platform that's building DAOs for Cardano and building the ability for people to build their own DAOs, has been having some progress updates, and I myself will be using this for my project. It is some pretty awesome stuff. They have a sneak peek of something, but as you can see here, signers, their payment addresses, creating a new multi-sig DAO and a community. So there's pretty cool stuff here. I'm excited for them to launch. Hopefully it's sooner than later, as they have been building for quite a while now. There's been a lot of activity as well in the Cardano NFT scene, as a bunch of projects have been minting, and also some new ones popping off and doing crazy millions of volume, with millions of total volume in the daily over on JPEG Store and other marketplaces on Cardano. But things are trending. We even saw Alley Cats, I believe, hop into Crypto Slam's top charts, and a Cardano-based NFT was on the charts with all the other NFTs from Ethereum and Solana, so that was pretty cool to see. And next up, a new version of Cardano Kios Python library was released. This can be found over at the link here, with most info at this other link here, and they are constant, decentralized, elastic, restful query layer for devs to build upon. Once again, any dev tooling that we see in these threads, you may not think it's a big deal, but more dev tooling is more devs. They're going to build cool stuff on Cardano. So it is pretty important news in the long run. And all of these dev tools do add up a lot. Another example may be TX Pipe Tools. They have released Palace, which is a series of building blocks that re-implements Cardano logic in native Rust, a very popular language. More accessibility, more developers, more dApps, and so on. 24, there's a new Cardano upgrade coming up, adding new built-in functions to Plutus to support ECDSA and Snore signatures. This will make it easier to build cross-chain applications, and everything will be more interoperable. And there were other updates around Lace, Marlow, Hydra, and the EVM sidechain testnet proof of concept. Earlier, what I referred to as the Conway era, I believe is now called the Valentine upgrade, aka the SECP upgrade, which makes it easier for Cardano to talk with Ethereum and Bitcoin. So that is pretty important. That is pretty exciting. And I do think that that is one of the things that we will be seeing in February that will have a lot of news around. Also, keep in mind that there's a lot of DeFi stuff going on right now, but not mentioned in this thread and still coming with some products and launches that haven't even happened yet, possibly this year or maybe next year, but pretty soon, most of them. AxoTrade, Genius Seal, Meld, Spectrum Labs, Raid Network, Paribus, Wi-Fi, Metara Protocol, Flack Finance, and many more are here building and ready to launch some interesting things. So I suspect that this year, in 2023, the Cardano DeFi is only going to get spicier, only going to get better, and only going to get more and more useful for the users who are using it. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, stick with the Jack Stake Pool. Check the links down in the description if you want access and to go to this thread to check the links that I mentioned. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. It's been your friend Jack. Peace.